What's up? This is Nak3d Eli, the mostly unclothed gamer, here with Mission 5 Reclaimer Legendary Walkthrough / Speedrun. This is 19 minutes to finish the whole mammoth mission. This thing is so friggin' gigantic, and the mission seems really long, and that's because there's a lot of points where you're just kind of waiting, playing the waiting game after killing a ton of enemies. So we're gonna have plenty of story time in this episode about the Forerunners and the Precursors and what the whole Halo 4 story means without spoiling anything. I'm gonna focus mostly on the Cryptum and Primordium books and talk a little bit about what we know about Forerunners, so that if you have watched the terminals or played the game, that all of these things will make sense. Everything that I do in the video is pretty self-explanatory, to be honest, but I will explain the gameplay, of course, when it is relevant. Like right here, this is totally relevant. Kind of want to talk to Lasky. I'm like, yo, bro, hold on, bro. And he's like, bro, I gotta pass you. Just hang on. And then he just like slowly walks away. Like, wouldn't they learn in the game that you're being really agitating and get angry or frustrated? Or like if you punch them in the back like that they'll sort of turn around and look at you funny? But instead he just kind of keeps on walking. And they try to make him walk over to this terminal over there, but I'm like, hey, Lasky, I want to talk to you. And so he starts walking into the railing. Like, this, I don't know, it's not an Easter egg, it's not a glitch, it's just really bad character movement thing. Like, I'm really just, he could have walked around me, he could have sprinted, he could have gotten angry, and then he just disappears. So why did he disappear? Like, okay, before we start talking about Forerunners and stuff, I need to ask, why would you make Lasky disappear? Because he's on the mammoth with you the entire time. He's not supposed to go anywhere, is he? It's not like he's flying away. He should have been at that terminal in the back like the entire time. It's not like you get swarmed by Covenant or anything. I know there's particle cannons, but they're not gonna hurt you. That was actually kind of cool. There's like particle accelerators, right? Is that basically what it is? We have particle accelerators on Earth, like CERN, and they shoot light at 99.99% or particles at the speed of light. So things kind of blow up. I don't know what I'm talking about, honestly. Here we're gonna snipe some enemies, and then you're gonna move on up here. Watch out for this guy. He can take you out with that turret from really long range. It's like the most accurate plasma weapons you will ever see in your entire life. And once you kill a certain number of these enemies, those two little neutralized targets will disappear, and the mammoth will get a move on. Alright, so let me talk a little bit about the Forerunners and Requiem and the Halos and where Forerunners came from, what happened to them 100,000 years ago, what happened to humanity. If you watch the terminals, you're probably wondering similar things. So, alright, here we go. Forerunners were created by Precursors. Precursors were flood-like forms from way back in the day, and it's said by some of the Precursors, like the Timeless One, that the Precursors were the same thing as Flood, and that the Flood are actually just a derivation of the Precursor form that unites all life. So the Precursors created Forerunners and humans, and then the Forerunners wanted to be the guardians of the mantle. All right, now hold on, gameplay fast right here. I've been targeting that guy all day, and eventually it worked. I would drive the Warthog back first and then try targeting him, because that just took way too long. You could get blasted by a ray shot, whatever, it doesn't matter. Now right here, my guy almost fell off the edge, but it's all good. We're still waiting for the target designator to come back. You see how it's red on the top right? So we got plenty of time until I can take out the particle cannon. I wish that it would recharge sooner. I don't know why the game makes you sort of wait. But anyways, back to the Forerunners. So we're talking about Precursors. They were like this race that knew how to create life. And then the Forerunners, they became the most technologically advanced society and killed off the Precursors. They said, screw you guys, we are the keepers of the mantle. Like, we want to own the galaxy and the universe and be our own keepers, essentially. And so some say that they killed all the Precursors except for one, and that's the one that's explored in the Greg Bear novels, Cryptum and Primordium. Right here, I'm giving my guy rockets. As you'll see, we're gonna head out on the Warthog to go follow the rest of the mission really fast, and don't have to wait for the mammoth if you can move around in a Warthog. So let's see, the Timeless One. He talks a lot about the Flood and why the Precursors, what happened to them, blah, 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 all these things. And supposedly everyone who's talked to the Precursors has killed themselves with the answers that he gives to them for why the Precursors were killed off. Or something along those lines. I don't know. There's probably a lot of you watching who are like, dear Eli, please stop screwing up the lore. This is exactly what happened. Ow, my elbow. I just hit it into my table. That's what I get for being so bad at lore. But it's really interesting to me, and I'm trying to remember. I read these books like months and months and months ago. So, and I know that a lot of people are curious about like the Forerunners. So the Forerunners and the humans got into a war because the humans were running away from the flood. So right there, actually gameplay again, we're gonna ram into these little, I don't know, they're like defense generator things, shield holders. They're like within shields that are locking down shields. So if you just ram them hard enough with the hog, or maybe you can get out and throw a grenade at them, they go down pretty quickly. And we got plenty of time because the mammoth isn't even here on this part of the mission yet. Right here, turn the camera angle to the right. If your warthog is about to fall to the left, that'll help you stabilize its physics. And right here you see that that's red, which means you got one more to go right down here. And what do you think we're gonna do? We're just gonna ram it. We ain't stopping. No way, buddy. Sometimes you will get blown up by a race shot here. I apologize for that, but usually you're pretty good and you can keep on going on with the rest of the mission. So I keep losing my train of thought on the Forerunners. I'm sorry. The Forerunners, they said, we're the keepers of the mantle. We protect all life, and humanity, you are crap. So they like stunted our growth and sent us back to being like dwarves after we lost the war against them. And the Didact then realized that we were running away from the flood. And so there are three main Forerunners who are at the top of the Forerunner hierarchy. We got the Master Builder, who seems to be the political leader. He's of the highest rate. The Builders is like the highest class of Forerunner. Then we have the Librarian, who is a life worker, who is the third rate under Miners. And then we have the Prometheans, the warrior servants. The Prometheans are the higher class of the warrior servants. I know that's a lot of political rates and classes and politics and things, but it's all important for shaping how the decisions were made with the Halo array. So right here you see I'm giving this guy rockets. This is actually going to make this part a lot of fun. If you don't have a rocket guy, I'd suggest hiding behind that rock right there on the right. That'll give you some really great angles on the ghosts and the race without having to take a lot of shots from them. Other than that, you're just sort of going to drive around. Don't sit still for too long, and sort of run like medium distance away from these guys so that your little Gauss dude and rocket guy can target them. And I think if you look at enemies, then it makes them more likely to shoot at them as well. You can also use this hill right here to stay alive more, because it's harder for them to get shots off on you. And sometimes they have amazing accuracy, and other times it's just terrible, like right there. So essentially the Forerunners were created by they're like all these different classes, and then the Prometheans beat the humans in the war, but then the Prometheans didn't want to make the Halo rings to blow everybody up. The life workers, the head is the Librarian, who was actually in love with the Didact. She wanted to save humanity. She wanted to save a bunch of Forerunners and all the plants and animals. She was basically like Noah's Ark, sort of storing life on the Halo arrays, as well as in shield worlds. So the Prometheans, especially the Didact, they wanted more of a warrior way to deal with things. They just wanted to fight the flood. They didn't want to have to sacrifice anything. But the Master Builder, who created the Halo array, said that, I think it was over the course of 1,200 years, that the Prometheans should not be in political power because they disagree with our plan between the Lifebringer and the Master Builder, which is interesting because that sort of contrasts what we see in one of the terminals. But this is way after that terminal. So then the flood actually come in, and they can't destroy them, and Mendicant Bias, who's the head AI who was made to completely run all of the Forerunner technology against the flood, sort of gets in bed with the Gravemind and talks to him for 43 years until the Gravemind convinces him that the flood is the ultimate evolved form of life, and that the mantle says that the flood should be the key, like the uniters of life. And the Precursor supposedly made the flood as one of two things. One, as a test for Keepers of the Mantle, or two, as a way to unite humanity and Forerunners. Because when the flood takes over, you all become a collective consciousness. And so right here, back to the gameplay, we got the lick thing that's about to drop down. So I want to get behind it, let all these enemies drop, and then as soon as they're all in, I'm going to go up the lift, blow up the core thing, and we're going to be on our way with the mammoth again. So back to story time. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I don't normally talk about lore, but I really do enjoy it. I definitely don't read it enough, and my memory is pretty terrible. So if you guys feel like clarifying some things, I know a lot of you guys are super duper experts at this. I actually almost did a lore series before Halo 4, but I didn't have time because of all the conventions and things. But hold on, real fast gameplay. Needler destroys. I don't know if you've been noticing this. It completely wrecks these guys. And this is like the world's strongest jackal. Check this out. Hit him like 2-3 times. He survives, blocks my sniper headshot, and then runs away still alive. So I'm going to say, screw you. Get out of here. After blowing up the core, you just jetpack off. Make sure you don't kill yourself. You definitely jetpack like halfway down to survive. And then right here, actually, if there's a wraith on the ground, you should go grab it and move on to the next part of the mission, because otherwise you have to wait for the mammoth. And that's what I had to do. I didn't have any wraiths, so I couldn't go over the green lava plasma thingamajagger gas that you're not allowed to go past. The way that you can get over it with the wraith is by holding down the right bumper and sort of flying over the river. But that didn't happen in this video, so we're going to hang out for a couple minutes while Cortana freaks out about how she can't control her rampant personality. So if I can tie Cortana into these things, Cortana is an artificial intelligence that can only last for 7 years, supposedly. She's been in service for 8 years, and but the thing is that the Forerunners have developed ways to keep AI alive for hundreds of thousands of years, right? Like the 343 Guilty Spark and 2401 Penitent Tangent and all of the monitors on the Halo installations, they were alive for 100,000 years. And sure, like 343 was going a little crazy, definitely showed some signs of rampancy, but he was still alive 100,000 years later, whereas human created AI do not live anywhere near that long. So anyways, that's a whole different story, artificial intelligences, but they actually have a huge impact on the story of Halo, right? Without Cortana, Chief couldn't do half the things that he does. And I love the Chief, but Cortana just makes him whole, right? She has access to all of these technologies and Covenant weaponry, and if you've read the books, has helped tremendously in so many situations. And then you have things like Mendicant Bias, who sides with the Flood as they're trying to kill the Forerunners. That screws up the Forerunners' plans, so they all have to die from the Halo installations. And if you know that story, the Forerunners created Offensive Bias as his own AI to go against Mendicant Bias, and there was like this epic space battle of like hundreds of Forerunner ships just colliding into each other, and Offensive Bias wound up winning very cleverly to Mendicant Bias. And that's the only reason that the Flood, I think, didn't take over the Forerunners before the Halo installation went off. So I'm really excited for the final Greg Bear novel. It's Silentium, and it's going to be out in a couple months. I think it was originally supposed to come out in January, and now it's coming out in March. So he needed a couple more months maybe to clarify some details from Halo 4, get more, I don't know, substance in the storyline, and hopefully it should be pretty good, because the first 2 books he couldn't say anything, but now we know everything about Halo 4. He can divulge tons of info, and hopefully it's not just going to be like walking around in a forest the entire time on a random Halo ring, as cool and interesting as some parts of that were in the story. So right here, let's get back to the gameplay. There's a bunch of snipers here. I'm going to show you all the positions and angles to take these guys down. They normally aren't very quick at shooting you, so as long as you know the location. The first 3 were pretty simple. There's the 4th one right there that I just took out. You have to go a little bit further along the right side, and then there's 2 in the back right over here that you really have to look out for, because they're pretty accurate as you're jetpacking up towards them. And they actually made it so that you could go around the perimeter here. There was a sniper rifle casket right there in the corner if you wanted to kill all the enemies. And there's also sniper and BR ammo at the front of that little canyon area. But I found that going around the right side, the exterior, is really easy for getting through this mission. Now right here, there's going to be a spawn. Take out those 2 beam rifle jackals, take out these 2 beam rifle jackals, and then we're going to keep moving on through the mission. Push over to the left side here. You can take so much Forerunner shots if you haven't noticed, as well as Covenant, but it seems like you can take even more Forerunner shots, so keep on running. Promethean weapons ain't no thing. Take out the grunt right there, and then just run right past his knight. No big deal. Sometimes he will kill you though, in which case the checkpoint was right over there. I start teabagging out of excitement, and then he throws a pulse grenade right on me. So get out of there fast. Now this definitely reminds me of Halo 3. The very last mission, Halo, where you're running, where Sergeant Johnson has to fight 343. Unfortunately, he dies. I miss Sergeant Johnson. Someone actually said they had an Easter egg where they found Johnson in the 6th mission, but I think it honestly just looks like a random black dude. It has more dislikes than likes, and I think the top comment was like, just because someone's black and wearing military outfit doesn't mean that they are Sergeant Johnson. That's racist. So I don't know if someone does find him in an Easter egg though, like, and it actually is confirmed to be him, like he's smoking a Sweet Williams cigar, definitely Johnson, then that would be pretty friggin' sweet. So we're in here, and there's going to be a really important cutscene coming up, but I'm not going to show it because I don't want to ruin it for anyone who hasn't played the game. I want you to experience it for yourself if you're going through, and I'm sure that you can find these cutscenes online. I had a friend who told me that he already saw all of them. Someone basically just pasted all the cutscenes together to show you what happens in the story. But as you can see, this mission has a lot of, like, if you understand the backstory, then it makes it even more exhilarating and exciting to play. But if you don't, then you're just kind of running around waiting for the mammoth. It's a hurry up and wait mission, right? And so it feels very long if you're going through it and you don't understand the context. So that's why I'm trying to give you some idea of like what happened to the Forerunners and the Prometheans. But if we talk a little bit more about the Didact, there actually is potentially another Didact that exists. So Cryptum starts talking about, it's like a story focusing on a Manipular, which is a young adolescent Forerunner who hasn't done his transformation. They all have first transformations to become adults. And his father is the Master Builder, I'm pretty sure, and the Master Builder wants him to become a builder, but he's like, no, I don't want to do it. So he sends him to the mines, and then he meets with some humans, and then they find the Didact, and he becomes friends with the Didact of sorts, and the Didact eventually makes Bornstellar transform into a Didact warrior servant class. So he's really ugly. He's sort of like this mix between builder and warrior servant, but he definitely like has the Didact's memories, and he knows all of his experiences. He basically becomes the Didact. And it's right there. Oh, and the gameplay, so we're back. There's some light rifle ammo there if you need it. But honestly, I think you can just run past this entire section. If you want to take the time to kill the enemies, it's 1 headshot for the crawlers or 4 snipe shots for the knights. But like I said, you can take so many Forerunner shots, it don't even matter. Just go. Sometimes you'll die. Right over there around that corner where I'm shooting is a terminal, if you have not gotten the terminals just yet. And we're almost at the end of this mission. Going to show you how to skip the very last fight, as I like doing. I don't know why. I just really enjoy going fast through things and not taking my time killing everything. Like the first time I played through games, sure, I'll kill most of the things, but I'll still want to get through where I can, if I can. So we're going to start out, get in the Warthog that's pushing forward right here. If you sprint to it every single time, you will get it. They normally stop for you when you get close. Move around right here, dodging that race shot / getting really lucky. You can't really dodge it as you're going around a corner. And then right here, get out of that Warthog early. You don't want to drive it all the way up here or you'll get blasted. So instead, we're going to make them get blasted, and we're going to move on right here to blow up these 2 little generator defense thingamajaggers from earlier that they're going to want you to blow up later. So instead, the loading will happen while you're up here. All these little guys are going to go on their little exodus down south, and then we're going to run straight to the end of the mission. So if there's anything that I said that was wrong about the lore, please clarify that in the comments. I don't want to be making mistakes and having people think things that are wrong. And there's honestly so much more to talk about, like books and articles, and just go read like Halopedia on the precursors. It is fascinating stuff, and the games haven't even touched on it, nor does Halo 4, honestly, in the entire story. So maybe we'll learn more in Halo 5 and Halo 6. I don't know. We're going to target this guy right here, and this is the end of the mission where you can't even, you're supposed to control it, but you can't miss no matter what. So boom, end of mission 5. There's a super glitch to skip 80% of mission 6 or more if you want to go check it out on the left, and then secret codes video on the right for some free XP, armor, and cool goodies. So subscribe for more if you have not already. This is Nak3d Eli. Thanks for watching.